Because his audience is gone. Trump on ABC reuniting with Jimmy Kimmel. U.S. President Trump threatened to test ABC out on bringing Jimmy Kimmel's show back on air. New Delhi. U.S. President Donald Trump is finding it hard to believe that the TV network ABC has given late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel his job back days after his show was suspended. President Trump threatened to test ABC out on this. Last week, on September 16th, in his show Jimmy Kimmel Live, the host made certain remarks on the killing of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, mocked President Trump's way of grieving the loss of his friend and criticized FBI Director Kash Patel's handling of the investigation into the assassination. However, the remarks didn't sit well with many. Following which, Nexstar, one of the country's biggest owners of ABC affiliate stations, said it would not broadcast Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future. On Monday, Disney announced that the show would return to the air on Tuesday. President Trump on Jimmy Kimmel's return. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. President Trump wrote on Truth Social. Contemplating the reason behind the reunion of ABC with Kimmel, he added, "Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone, and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC and, to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution." President Trump said that the government will test ABC out on this. While unclear on how it would happen, he shared the last time ABC had to shell out $16 million. "Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings." Jimmy Kimmel's return lacks acceptance from all. Two groups of ABC affiliates that denounced Kimmel last week said they would not carry his return, reported the news agency Associated Press. Nexstar Media Group said it would continue to preempt the show, pending assurances that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful, constructive dialogue in the markets we serve. Sinclair Broadcast Group said it would also keep Kimmel off its stations. The two corporations collectively control about a quarter of ABC affiliates. What Jimmy Kimmel said to face suspension. Charlie Kirk, a close aide of President Trump, was shot dead on September 10th after a bullet pierced through his neck while he was speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. Kimmel spoke about the shooting in his popular late-night show's monologue. "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid, Tyler Robinson, who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and with everything they can to score political points from it," said Kimmel. The host played a video of President Trump responding to reporters' questions about holding up after the death of Kirk. "I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years, and it is going to be a beauty," President Trump is heard saying. Mocking President Trump and his way of grieving, Kimmel said, "Yes, he's at the fourth stage of grief. Construction. Demolition. Construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once." Nexstar separates itself from Jimmy Kimmel Live. Trump celebrates. After the show was critiqued, Nexstar said it would not broadcast Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future. In a statement, Nexstar Broadcasting President Andrew Alford said the company strongly objects to Kimmel's comments. Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located, he said. President Trump praised the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel's late-night show and congratulated ABC for finally having courage to do so. "Great news for America. The ratings-challenged Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled," President Trump wrote on his social media site. Trump takes aim at late-night television. The ripples are loud enough to echo across every newsroom and social media feed. This time, his target wasn't just any comedian. It was Jimmy Kimmel, who recently made a much-anticipated return to ABC after a short hiatus. Trump, never one to shy away from public sparring, claimed that Kimmel's reunion with ABC was less about comedy and more about desperation, quipping, "Because his audience is gone." It was a punchline without a laugh track, but it carried the kind of sting that only Trump knows how to deliver. Yet as the smoke clears from this latest dust-up, the real story isn't just Trump's jab. It's what it says about the evolving relationship between politics, entertainment, and the very idea of who holds the microphone in America's cultural conversation. A president who never left the stage. Donald Trump's public feud with late-night hosts goes back years. Long before he set foot in the White House, Trump understood the power of television as a weapon and a stage. Late-night comedians, once reluctant to wade into politics beyond the occasional jab, became nightly commentators during his presidency. Jimmy Kimmel, in particular, sharpened his political monologues with a blend of humor and indignation, often making Trump a central target. Trump noticed. He frequently lashed back on Truth Social or in interviews, accusing Kimmel and others like Stephen Colbert of being unfunny or losing ratings. Now, with Kimmel returning to ABC, Trump's latest critique fits neatly into his long-running narrative. The comedians are out of touch, the audiences are dwindling, and he, Trump, remains the headline act. The Kimmel comeback. Jimmy Kimmel's reunion with ABC wasn't just another programming decision. It was framed as a celebratory homecoming. His return carried an emotional weight. Viewers saw a mix of nostalgia and modernity, a reminder that despite all the shifts in entertainment, Kimmel remains one of the most recognizable faces in late-night television. His opening monologue touched on family, personal stories, and yes, politics. But the mood was less about attacking and more about re-establishing his voice. Kimmel, who has been open about the toll the Trump years took on his humor and his audience, leaned into a more reflective tone this time. The laughter was still there, but it was tinged with something deeper, a recognition that comedy has been transformed by politics and culture wars. And yet, just as Kimmel was reclaiming his stage, Trump was reclaiming the narrative. Trump's comment, a simple jab with complex undertones. Because his audience is gone. On the surface, Trump's comment is just another dig, sarcastic, dismissive, and designed to sting. But beneath it lies a multi-layered critique of the entertainment industry itself. Trump has long positioned himself as the champion of forgotten Americans, the people who he claims stopped watching mainstream networks because they felt alienated by elite culture. By saying Kimmel's audience is gone, Trump isn't just mocking Kimmel's ratings. He's suggesting that Hollywood and its hosts are relics, abandoned by the very middle America they once entertained. It's a shrewd way of turning Kimmel's return into a symbol of decline. Of course, the truth is more complicated. Kimmel still has a loyal fan base. ABC still banks heavily on his appeal. But Trump's framing works in the court of public opinion, where perception often matters more than Nielsen numbers. A clash of audiences. The real battle here isn't between Trump and Kimmel. It's between their audiences. Kimmel's viewers skew liberal, urban, and younger. They tune in for biting satire and progressive takes on current events. Trump's base, on the other hand, is older, conservative, and deeply skeptical of Hollywood. When Trump declares Kimmel's audience gone, he's speaking to his own base, who long ago stopped watching late-night TV in favor of podcasts, Fox News, and social media feeds tailored to their worldview. To them, Kimmel is not just irrelevant. He's the embodiment of an industry that abandoned them. For Kimmel's fans, Trump's comment is little more than projection. A former president trying to stay relevant by picking fights with comedians. The new role of late-night hosts. It's worth asking, what is the role of late-night TV in 2025? Gone are the days when Johnny Carson or Jay Leno avoided overt partisanship to appeal to the widest possible audience. Today, late-night hosts are openly political, often aligning themselves with specific cultural tribes. Kimmel, Colbert, Seth Meyers, they've all built their brands on critiques of Trump-era politics. This has come at a cost. Their audiences are more loyal but narrower. In other words, they've traded mass appeal for cultural influence. That makes them easy targets for Trump, who thrives on pointing out shrinking tent sizes. Why Trump still needs the feud. Ironically, Trump may benefit more from feuding with Kimmel than Kimmel does from mocking Trump. Every time Trump targets a comedian, he ensures coverage not just in political outlets but in entertainment news as well. It keeps him at the center of the cultural conversation, blurring the line between politician and pop culture figure. For a man whose political persona was born on reality television, this is no accident. Trump doesn't just want to win elections. He wants to dominate airtime. By claiming Kimmel's audience is gone, he positions himself as the one people are still watching, still talking about.